gonna
go live in a minute, baby. Oh, we're gonna be going live.
maybe stop the start video.
So don't press play on the Facebook. Stay on Zoom, okay?
What do you mean?
Don't worry, just stay on Zoom. we'll be live. We should be there now, coming up.
Let me go on, use my phone to see.
I so love hearing those birds.
Yeah. Is it live? How do we see that?
I'm gonna have to press record. It might be when I press record that it will go live. You should see us in the room. Let's just have a look. If anyone is in the Star Piece room, then please let us know.
Is people coming in as well?
We've got 2 people in already, so I could admit them in a minute.
Okay, we'll start at 8 sharp then.
Yeah.
All right. Should we press record, Rosie?
Yeah. 1 sec. Worthy. Experience. Okay, I'm starting the record. Hold on. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Hello, everybody. Let's admit those who are in. Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome.
Hi, good evening. Good evening.
Good evening. How are you this evening?
Yeah, lovely, thank you.
Good. Augustine, I'm just going to let you do little intros. I'm going to keep checking just to make sure we've got this all going beautifully. And I'll let everyone in.
Hello there, I am Rosanna and welcome to Rosy Glow. Rosy Glow is the soft pink flame of divine grace that allows us to let go easily of what no longer serves our highest good. It is a vibrational frequency that we can all attune to by claiming our power as conscious co-creators of our reality. My work essentially moves people out of their pain body into their bliss body by awakening their superconscious. Through my multidimensional coaching, body-based practices, and emotional mental detox methods, I support my clients to move through their blocks and limitations with immediate results. So whether you're looking to conceive a baby or a new project, embody a more heart-centered and holistic approach to business, or are ready to be guided in life by love rather than fear, I provide you with the consciousness-shifting tools to move you from where you are to where you want to be. To find out more about my one-to-one and group coaching, business mentoring and digital products, please follow the link and book a consultation call with me today. And if you'd like to know more about my yoga classes, workshops, retreats, teacher trainings and cacao ceremonies, check out the website and join the Rosy Glow tribe. If you are feeling a call in your heart, this is your divine spark ready to be awakened. I am here to support you to awaken it. So get in touch today. Namaste.
Welcome to our masterclass, How to Get Unstuck, Self-Betrayal and Self-Abandonment. I'm your host, Augustine, and I'm so happy to be joined by all of you. Please make sure your camera is on, and also type one keyword in the chat room and let us know how do you feel? What are you feeling right now? One word, and I'm going to type it first. I am feeling excited. Please type how you feel right now. Yay, yeah. Nick's excited. Rosie's me too. Genevieve, aesthetic. Awesome. Marcus, good to see you. Good to see you, Charlie. Marcus said intrigued. That's awesome. Connie, lovely to meet you. Feeling great. So yeah, we'd love to really connect with everyone's energy. So just if you can, switch your camera on. It's okay if you're wearing pajamas because hey, I'm wearing pajamas in the lower half as well. So I am so glad that we have Rosanna here with us today. And the video you just saw was a few years ago. And look at this amazing woman right now. Not only she has founded the Star Peace movement, she's the maverick behind the Star Peace movement, but she has made it into the New York Weekly Times top 12 inspiring women in 2022. And our Star Peace movement is also being shared on Authority Magazine, Hollywood Life Magazine, and LA Weekly Times as well. So honored to have you, Rosie. Why don't you unmute yourself and just introduce yourself to us a bit more before we officially start?
Hello, beautiful beings. Really, really lovely to be here with you this evening and great to see some faces I haven't seen before. Lovely to have Connie here as well. I'm just really excited about everything that's going on right now because the Star Peace movement is essentially a global invitation for a shift from fear to love. It is essentially the opportunity for us all to upgrade our circuitry from being wired to survive to being wired to thrive. And my background really is in early influences. So I've spent 22 years working with fertility, pregnancy, birth, the immediate postnatal period and the first 3 and 7 years of life. And I'm sure many of you are very aware of the impact of our early life and how it shapes us. But not many of us are as aware of the time in the womb and how literally we're wired one way or the other. And Star Peace is something that is both incredibly ethereal, galactic, out of this world, and also really practical, really present on this earthly plane. So I'm sure we all know about Star Wars. And the way that I'll describe this in the simplest way is Star Wars is a wonderful depiction of duality consciousness and this battle between good and evil. And star peace is the evolution of duality consciousness into unity, into oneness. And this is where we evolve beyond right and wrong into a space where we can allow all to coexist and choose what we want to focus on. So both Rosy Glow, myself as a channel is Rosy Glow, I channel divine grace, and divine grace is the power of revelation. And by that, I mean those little aha moments where suddenly you hear something, you see something a different way, and where it seemed like there was no other option but just to carry on as you were, the doors open and you see things can be different. My life is total testimony to that. It wasn't that long ago that I was a struggling single mum on tax credits and benefits, always attracting Mr. Unavailable, Mr. Uncommitted, Mr. Not Interested, struggling to help make the world a better place. But in myself, my needs were like right at the bottom of the list. And so these themes of self-betrayal and self-abandonment are really about our original disconnect from source, okay? On this earth plane, we're still living this duality consciousness, although there are many of us who are awakening or have already awakened to the fact that we can live differently. We can co-create our reality. And even if we have a legacy that's a struggle paradigm legacy, which is true for most of us, we can rewire our circuitry. And I call that unplugging from the fear paradigm and plugging into the thrive paradigm. So unplugging from the fear matrix into the divine matrix. Now, religion and spirituality are not the same thing. And not to want to offend anyone's religion, where we are here when we talk about co-creating our reality consciously, we're talking about bringing our soul energy into our lives, activating our heart center so that we can truly operate from the highest principle. And you may have heard the term power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. Many of us are very scared of our power. And this is a very close link to basically abandonment and betrayal of self, of trusting our inner authority. So, I mean, Augustine, tell me whether you want me to go straight into all of it now or whether you'd like me to come in a little bit later, because you know me, I can talk.
Thank you. Thank you. I just wanted to let everyone know that today's schedule it looks like this. So Rosanna is going to share her insight on self-betrayal and self-abandonment. And after that, I'm going to offer my journey as well and what I've learned about these topics. And towards the end, we will have a Q&A section, so we will have a live interaction with all of you. So just make some notes. If you have questions, write it down. Towards the end, we'll answer all your questions. So we want this to be as interactive as possible. Hi, lovely Connie. How are you? All right, so I'm gonna give the time back to Rosie now.
Okay, I'm taking 5 minutes and I'm handing over, okay? Okay, so one of the things that I think is going to be really helpful as we're talking is we're basically activating codes, all right? So as I share a little bit about my story and Augustine shares his, please do write stuff down that kind of resonates with your story. And it's really worth answering the question now, if you can, where do you abandon yourself? Where do you betray yourself? And what does that currently mean to you? Like, maybe it means nothing. You're like, please just explain, right? So, you know, where shall we start? I think there are many, many people on this planet today that really want to help make the world a better place. And many of us identify as emotional empaths. And to relate this again to the bigger picture, because that's what I do, this is a story for us now to evolve if we want to as a humanity. Those of us who care very much about the state of the world and also want to improve our own lives and have a better experience of it must learn one thing. And that is that the world is basically operating in such a way where we have learned to take energy from each other as our way of sustaining ourselves energetically. We have forgotten that actually we have one true connection that is to source, is to all that is. And I just call that the frequency of love. I think that gets us through words like God, higher power, all that kind of thing. But there is love, and love is all. And in order for love to have understood itself, it needed to create a contrast to love in order to come back to love. And all of us are in a journey back into oneness. So in the experience of being on this earth plane, we come here knowing that we're going to forget who we really are, forgetting that we are souls having a physical experience. And when we come here, we're coming to evolve our soul consciousness. So what happens is when we enter into the physical body, when we enter into the egg and the sperm fusion, we start a process of forgetting our origins, and we start to absorb the stories of our bloodlines. And those bloodlines are basically connected to us in such a way that our soul has certain lessons it is elected to learn in each lifetime. Okay, we in our origins are all one, but in order to recognize we are all one, we separate from that oneness, and then we climb back into that oneness through our experiences, well, on this plane and also in other places, other galaxies, other universes even. And so this is a school, and in this school I have recognized through my journey that we elect to come into contact with other souls in order to grow through from fear to love, from pain and struggle to love, and to choosing love to win. And for me, this whole story around self-abandonment and self-betrayal was actually forgetting, first and foremost, that I had this connection to source. And as a child, I felt so scared of death, and also had this constant sense of a black hole inside of me that needed filling. And whether that was food, whether that was seeking love from someone else, whether it was sex, whether it was money, whether it was trying to help other people because that made me feel good, there was a constant looking outwards for something to fill me up on the inside. And the journey of shifting from that external seeking to recognizing it's all inside of us, and it's inside of us as a vibration, as a frequency that we can access, is what we're here to remember now. So to claim our power fully as co-creators of our reality, we have to step out of victim consciousness. We have to let go of the lie. The lie is that we are separate, that actually we can only struggle. We must struggle to survive. There's no other option. And so it showed up for me, as I said to you a little bit earlier, in ways where I was always trying to help and to change things on the outside without having shifted my internal vibration, and without recognizing that I deserved to have what I wanted. I was intrinsically worthy of what I wanted. And all I needed to learn to do was to align with it, and to learn how to have desire, and then to evolve that desire into the highest good of all and the win-win-win. Now, in the simplest terms, what this means when we allow soul consciousness to lead us is we become our super conscious selves. So we're no longer driven by our early conditioning programming. We evolve it, and we learn how to co-create our reality consciously, not so that it's all perfect all the time and we're controlling everything outside of us, but that we learn how to move with everything that is going on and how to grow. So when it comes to self-abandonment and self-betrayal, it is when we give our power to others. It is when we look outside of us instead of trusting our inner selves. And this showed up for me in my parenting. It showed up for me in the way that I worked. It showed up for me in the fact that I could never take a holiday because I felt guilty and bad, because there was always so much to do in this world. You know, that the suffering of others was paramount in my frequency and my awareness. And I didn't know the one thing that was key, which was I had to deeply look after me and give myself permission to have what I want and need, and know that there is a way of having it, and that also desire is not a bad thing. So this journey is about unlearning our learned conditioning and deciding what we want instead, and then being willing to do the groundwork to allow our frequency to shift. So as our vibration shifts, the world around us changes. I'm going to finish with one thing. What inspired me to allow myself to basically move beyond the struggle, stress, fear-based conditioning that I was born into was this statement. As we change our view of the world around us changes. And this is what Star Peace is about. As we start to see ourselves differently and the world differently, we start to look for what we want to see evidence of. We start to see the reality around us change. And I know Connie is very much aware of what I'm talking about here because we've both been on an accelerated path of that. Anything else you'd like me to share, dear Augustine, or would you like to take over now?
That's awesome. Thank you so much. I guess you hit the point on the nail. It's about the victim consciousness, which is exactly what I've prepared. So, where is that? Let me just play this. So with words, I hope I can add on to what you have shared. And nothing on the screen is, nothing is blocking you guys, right? You can just see a blank screen. Is that right? Yeah, great. So let me just move this aside really quick. Sorry. There we go. So I would love to offer this bit to all of us. Self-betrayal and abandonment, as Rosanna said, is shadow frequencies that are running deep in our collective human consciousness. And the origin, the moment planet Earth disconnected from the fifth density of love, we dropped into that 3D density and believing that we are not connected with the universe or source or God or oneness or unity, however you want to name it, or who we disconnect from who we truly are. Any form of external betrayal or abandonment we face is actually an internal manifestation. We abandoned our true gift as a creator of our own reality. We betray our sovereignty as an empowered person, all because of victim consciousness, because we believe we are helpless, we are guilty. The moment we disconnected from source. And to understand how to shift ourselves out from experiencing betrayal or any abandonment, we need to understand this concept that we are all made of energy. And emotions means energy in motions. So imagine this is the motor. When we alter how we feel, we create an energetic vibration that radiates out into our energetic field and attract things into what we experience. So if we have shadow frequency of betrayal and abandon in our emotional body, we will attract people who betray or abandon us as their frequencies are in harmony with that. So this is quite an empowering thought. Things do not happen to us randomly. We actually attract that. And 2 years ago when I worked with Rosie, this was the breakthrough moment. I was like, what? I can actually create what I experience and shift myself out of all those struggling paradigm old story. And that really gave me the power, and that's helped me to shift away from victim consciousness. And through these attractions is an invitation for us to love up or alchemize these shadow frequencies so we can be in harmony with something better. And for those of you who blame someone outside of you, makes you feel betrayed or abandoned, these questions are good to ask yourself. First, did you betray your soul by working in a job before your colleague backstabbed you? 2, did you help everyone first before your friends completely neglected your needs? Number 3, did you abandon your personal values in relationships before your partner cheated on you? I have experienced all these things. And I would like to share with you how these things are formed. And we need to look at the events in our life that strengthen these shadow frequency. So as a therapist, what I've learned is from 0 to 14 years old, we actually download something called a program. And we have no defense on what is true and false about us, because from 0 to 14 years old, our conscious mind, our logical brain is not yet fully developed. So we just take everything in. So imagine we are an empty cup during those years. It really depends on our surroundings to help us to form our basic program. So one thing that contributes to self-betrayal and self-abandonment is us betraying our own feelings by bottling up that my feelings are not important. So imagine you are 6 years old telling your mother to come home early, and your mom said, I'm home 2 nights a week already. You should be grateful. You should stop moaning. So what I have learned is to swallow that unmet needs and move on. Like, my feelings is not important because I should be grateful. This is the root of self-abandonment, abandoning my feeling. And in adulthood, this is how it shows up. We attract a partner who is very dismissive, or we always complain about our partner doesn't understand or listen to us. And we get so triggered emotionally as we have an emotional wounds. And so we keep asking them to do something we want them to do to make us feel important or heard. For example, hey, XYZ, clean the dishes. Hey, you, can you just listen to me more? I need a conversation more. And you know what? I'm sure it ends in even more arguments. And that is the moment we got stuck, because we keep using something on the outside, as Rosie said, to feed the empty hole from the inside. So the ultimate tools to help all of you to shift is to practice self-acceptance, self-love, and know that you are worthy, your feelings are important. Another element is that we unwillingly took on others' mental limitation. Oh, I said metal limitations. Sorry for the typo, but you know what I mean. So imagine you are very talented, but your talent wasn't recognized at school. And meanwhile, everyone at school is talking about becoming a lawyer or a doctor. And so basically your talent wasn't accepted by anyone around you. So, or you might hear something's like, what you do won't make you a living. That's what my mom loved to say. And so we have learned from this incident that what we have to offer is not important, or no one cares. How is this going to show up in adulthood? For example, you might have a deep knowing that you are meant for greatness or influencing others. However, you might tell yourself, I don't have enough time, I have kids, I don't know how to do it, I don't know anyone, I don't have the money I need. So these are the victim consciousness here. So we abandoned our full power. We gave us mental reasoning and excuses to keep us small. So we feel lost in a limbo and we cannot break through the glass ceiling. So we feel stuck again. So one thing to stop any form of betrayal is stop betraying yourself by telling yourself all those mental lies that Rosie just talked about. And remember one thing, like if we learned a survival programming, then we will be surviving. If we were given a thriving program, we thrive. And 90% of us, we have given a survival programming because we came from a very fear-based reality. But the good news is there are methods that we can easily detox our mental programming and also upgrade our human consciousness and become a true soul-led person. So the breakthrough really lies in these 4 steps. And if you want, write them down. How did that drama make you feel? Is the wound that you really need, to witness so you can transform it? How do you want to feel instead? And what is actually in the way of you fully embodying that feelings you want? Because there are limitations, there are restrictions, there are pain, there are guilt, there are fear, there are blocks there to prevent, to hold us back from really feeling how we want to feel and what we want to experience. And the last question is, what are you currently doing on the outside to get you the feeling state you are seeking? So this connect to our actions and our behavior. All right. Um, so anything you would like to share, Rosie, after I share this bit?
Well, I'm just loving the examples you've given, because I think for a lot of us, we want to rationalize how it all happened, why it came to this point. And so much of this is down to intergenerational trauma. It's passed from one generation to the next. We're very lucky at this stage in our lives in that we have at least 60 to 70 years worth of pre and neonatal psychology research. And we also have epigenetics, quantum physics, neuroscience research. And we're learning more as well about how we interact with the world around us, particularly entertainment, what we watch, what we listen to, what we read, and how that then either confirms our original programming or it helps us to change it. So we are so powerful. Each of us is like such a powerful computer, if you like, that we just don't know how to use properly. And the example you gave for Augustine about being taught that your needs are not worthy, this starts so early for most of us, because for many generations we were left to cry as babies. Now, this might not seem like a big deal because it's happened to so many of us that we just think, yeah, that's what you do. But when you leave a baby to cry, we now know what that does is it increases stress levels in that baby, and basically gets them programmed to be much more stressed, much easier with everyday triggers. And also they receive this message very early in life that there's no point in asking for what you want because you're not going to get it. My needs are not important. And this is the start of the root of all of this. Back to you, darling.
Thank you. Thank you. And I remember 2 years ago, I read a lot and I was really aware of the subconscious conditionings. I'm aware of it, but I had no way that I could change it, because based on Dr. Bruce Lipton said 90% of our behavior, our habitual patterns are all dictated by our subconscious mind. And the 10% conscious effort that I have, aware of me feeling so triggered, aware of my bad behaviors in the past, and I didn't have a way to stop it. So I needed to make a very strong decision, so strong that it override the programming and allowed me to step to another place to start unplugging those conditionings and fear matrix. And I would love to talk about decision, because this is one thing that not many of us were taught how to do. A decision must be a fully committed decision, that when you want to shift yourself out of experiencing betrayal and abandonment, it must be a fully committed decision. And it has to be mixed with discipline. And it is the ability to give yourself a command and follow it. So, for example, you have made the decision not to engage or not to use an external authority or anything to get you the feeling state of feeling important, then your desire and your commitment needs to be so big and that override that conditioning. So this is what we offer here. The decision to whether you want to step into a thriving paradigm. And with like 2 years ago, without joining that intense 4 months deep dive transforming journey with Rosanna, I think I wouldn't be doing what I do right now. I would still be, I think, working in a job, having a work hard mentality. I would still be selling my soul for something just to pay my bills. So this is an invitation. So if you feel the calling that you are committed to expand to your fullness, we do offer a breakthrough call to help you identify what is in the way, what is blocking you, what is in the way of you fully embodying the feeling state you want, and what is in the way of you creating the life that you want. So I am just gonna pause it here and share a breakthrough call link. If you are interested, you can check this out. It is a free call that can really helps you to gain clarity and see what are in the ways that is blocking you. And we have all different sort of offer. So it fits everybody. But most importantly, the breakthrough call has really shifted my own thinking. Through this call, 2 weeks ago, I was watching the breakthrough call I had with Rosanna, and I couldn't remember who I was. I couldn't even recognize that person. The only thing that is very obvious is that I used to have a silver highlight and I do not have it now. But the thing I said in that breakthrough call, and when I watch it now, I was like, no way, Augustine, that you said that. Like, what sort of consciousness did you have? So it's a huge transformation. So I would just love all of you, if you have time, to click on that link.
Okay, can I just out you a little bit there, Augustine?
Yes,
because I think, just to speak to this a little bit more so it makes sense, I think many of us have read books, done digital programs, seen it right in front of us and gone, yeah, I get this. This is it. But the moment you put that book away, it's all forgotten. And this is the thing about commitment, is your conscious mind can be committed to change. But if your subconscious is going, no way, Jose, we're doing this. This is what we do. We're loyal to our conditioning. Then you are never going to override that. And one thing that we've discovered is that as you put your superconscious or your soul in control, you then have all of the subconscious clearing, which is also the bloodline clearing, necessary to be done so you can really remember your soul consciousness and what you're here for. And many talk about their soul purpose in that sense. We're all here to experience what we desire to experience. That's our soul purpose. How we go about doing that is a whole other thing. But the commitment has to be in the superconscious offers the opportunity, the vision, the desire. You know what you want. Each and every one of you has an idea of the things that you want to experience, the feeling states, whether it's a relationship, whether it's to be affluent, whether it's to be recognized, whatever it is that you want, it's there in you. You have something impulsing you to find a way to have that experience. But if your conscious mind, which is your current consciousness, and your subconscious resist what you actually want on a soul level, the self-sabotage is constant. And when Augustine's talking about commitment, it's the commitment to keep the discipline going of learning new systems, going through the process of clearing the subconscious, and in particular, recognizing one thing. Where you perceive something as a sign that says, oh, no, this isn't working, I shouldn't do it, it's not happening. That actually, that's just resistance that comes up before a big breakthrough. And however old you are, you have lived a certain way and stayed true to your conditioning all that time. So now when you make a decision, it's a bit like going to the gym, deciding you want a different body, right? You're going to need to be committed to that, to see that result. And then that's when you have to maintain it. So what Augustine was talking about is the Fearless program, which is a 4-month container. And that's like the discipline of creating your new body, of stepping into it, of creating the scaffolding around your old self to build your new self. And then it's about learning to live as that new consciousness, because the world around us isn't giving us confirmation of it. We have to get it from inside and really trust and believe in it. And what I was going to out you on, Augusta, was like, I just remember that you wanted someone to save you. You wanted a partner that was going to basically look after you and you wouldn't have to ever show up in your life and actually, you know, follow your dream, right? It was all about someone else loved me so I can feel loved.
You know what I said on the call? I was like, you asked me, what do I really want? And I said, I want a partner who really spend lots of time with me, be with me all the time, listen to me, cook for me, or I don't know, treat me really nicely. And then when I saw that now, I was like, holy, I don't think I need a partner like that, because I've learned to give all of that to myself. And I don't think I can send a partner that is that smothering.
Yeah, it would be, you've reclaimed your relationship with yourself, and that's what all of us do when we go through this process, is we reparent ourselves. We give ourselves what we were never given. All those unmet needs that we had as children, they're where we meet ourselves now. And there's a lot of forgiveness, a lot of compassion, also a lot of discernment, because the way we BS ourselves is off the scale, right? You know, we have all these ways that we will do everything we can to keep ourselves the same. So that's the self-abandonment and the betrayal. It's like, I am never gonna have sex on the first date again. Oh, he's nice. Oh, maybe it could work. I'll just do it again and see if it's a different result, right? We all do this. That was me for many years, by the way. I'm now very happily married to my dream man, and I'm living my dream life. And that is the truth, and it is expanding. Anyway, like I said,
why don't we jump into the Q&A, because I think we have been talking long enough. So why don't we open the floor, tell us what notes you have written down, what personal questions you might have, and we're going to pause the recording here so it stay in this small group. So Rosie, please stop the recording, and thank you so much for attending our call today. Please book the call with us so we can help you find some clarity.
can I just suggest one thing before we do this?
Yeah.
Genevieve, you knew I was going to do this, didn't you? Are you up for sharing your latest little breakthrough with everybody in terms of what you shared with me today? Just like a 2-minute version of it. Because you graduated how long ago? About 3 years ago?
2019.
Yeah. So this is a process of co-creating your reality, and you have a beautiful son in very, very challenging circumstances that he came into this world, right? And I'll let you lead.
Yeah, I have a 6-year-old son called Dylan, and he has muscular dystrophy. And I'll just read it if I can get to it. I've just sent it to you as well, because no, I'll finish with that bit. So in June last year, on the 9th of June, I wrote I wrote down in detail what I wanted for Dylan and myself, because we were both, he was really struggling in our connection with each other. I was struggling as well. So I wrote at the time, I'm so worried. Dylan is struggling so much. He's vomiting all the time and losing weight, and loads of other things all seem to be happening at once. I'm working with his medical team. I'm calling in our divine team. I'm so worried about him. He seems so sad. I want to co-create him to stop him vomiting and gain some weight and thriving. So I think then I asked, can I do this? And then I wrote it out. I am starting with filling my tank because we are so in sync. I know his emotions mirror mine. I'm seeing him thriving, weighing 15 kilograms, days, weeks without vomiting, developing his own tools with me, co-regulating our feelings successfully. So that's what I wrote just over a year ago. And tonight I put him on the weighing scales and he weighs 15 kilograms. So
you sent me that message yesterday, and like, I honestly, like, I can't tell you all how I want to swear how fucking awesome it is when you see this happen, right? And you see what could have been a completely different path for someone totally shift because of love. It was your love, Genevieve. It was your belief in yourself, in the power. I mean, we talk about miracles and everything else, but Dylan is testimony to you, and you have also fallen in love, and you have a wonderful man in your life. Like, your story is literally the struggle to thrive story, as is, you know, other graduates are here as well, and it's really consistent. It's just, it takes commitment, doesn't it? It takes commitment.
And it's not just, and I think the significant thing about that and all the other things as well is that it's been 12 months. It is not something that goes, I want £1 million. I was literally telling Martin this earlier today. I was like, it doesn't, you can't say I want £1 million and the next morning you wake up and there's £1 million in your bank account. It will be, I want £1 million, meet all the shit that comes up for that, work through it, wade through it, surrender to it, let it go, like forget about it. It's there, but you're not holding on to it, grasping for it. Like, that's the surviving thing, right? Trying to grab it all the time. You just let it go, and then opportunities come up and things happen. It's not like he magically just gained that much weight. Like, he's had a new feeding thing, he's had to have an operation in order to make that happen. It's, you know, things have had to happen. It's not, it is magic, but it's not just going to happen. Like,
it's multi-dimensional magic. And you're talking, I know you followed the 6 co-creation steps that we basically sort of impregnate everyone with, so they can really understand, one, how to create something from an intention, a desire, and also how to hold themselves in check, because like we said, you really plug into your inner authority. Genevieve, thank you for sharing that. I'm just really grateful that you did. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Right, I'm stopping the recording, and this is time for us to interact, folks. So please just bring it up and out. We're here to just support you to whatever it is that needs to happen to get you to the next bit. We're here. And everyone else, book a call. Mwah!
So who would like to go first?
Any insights, any aha moments that have come up for you whilst you've been with us this evening?
I could kick off the question if that helps everyone. I think at the moment, the thing, so I was really drawn to the words like getting unstuck, and I've also been having a real like fear of rejection coming up, and a few things have happened in the last 24 hours where I felt like little rejections from things. So obviously I'm being tested on that fear of rejection, but I think this is related to me stepping out and going into it's like soul purpose related, because that's what I'm moving through now, is to put myself out there to do things and help people, support people, and I'm just curious about the link between those. It's very clear to me that it's like a rejection feeling, and then also I've had a lot of memories of childhood being directly rejected by people, but then how that's kind of, I think I kind of know the answer now I'm saying it, but can you answer it for me too?
Tell us what you think, Genevieve. Tell us what you're feeling, what is coming through for you, because this is about empowering yourself.
Yeah, so it's the combined fear of rejection and the fear of failure. So fear of maybe going out to do a job and being rejected by that job, or being rejected by the people that do that job because I'm not seen as good enough or worthy enough to do that job. So I can see how it's linked. Yeah, it kind of makes sense now.
From my point of view, what I'd offer you is that this is kind of like what will come up. You'll see this is a pattern, that rejection fearing thing, right? Every time you are expanding into the next bit, right? The next stage of you actually going, what next? Because, you know, when you start ticking off your list all the things that you really wanted, you get to that point where you're like, there's nothing really like, you know, like I'm hungry for in that way anymore. And it's just expanding and sharing. And I think we've all had this experience somewhere in our lives where we just bounce along, we're all nice and light and happy, and then someone's just mean to us out of nowhere and we don't know why, right? And it's like, what did I do? What happened? And it hurts. It really hurts. And all of us, if we have children, we've had to face those moments when someone's been unkind to our child, right? So again, how is that dealt with? How were we dealt with? What's that all about? So I'm kind of taking you back a bit because this will be like stuff from the past, right? But really early. And, you know, if we were doing a sort of look at your most earliest influences, there'll be, again, some sense of your birth and your coming into this world, because it's those most early imprints that kind of play out like this. Now, you remember in the voice message I sent to you earlier, it's just like, just put your little girl on your lap, talk to her, and just remind her that it doesn't really matter what anyone else thinks of her. Yeah, she just gets to go out there and say what she does and, you know, what she wants to do. And if others don't actually want to or meet you in that place, that doesn't make you wrong, right? There's a beautiful saying about that. It's like, I can't remember what it is now, but it's like, just let yourself really go that next step, but give yourself time to expand into it as well. So how about playing it out in your mind first? Because we do a lot of reverse engineering, right? What does it feel like to be welcomed? And then love up the resistance, you know how, of the rejection and the fear, and see where that takes you.
Yeah. In your meditation yesterday, I held my own hand, but it was me as a child. Okay.
You're already there.
Thank you.
You're welcome, darling. Anyone else got anything they'd like to reflect or share? Go on, next.
Yeah, I think I was attracted to this because it was the self-acceptance and acknowledgement of how I had been betraying or self-abandoning my own needs in relationships, and it's taken this bloody long to recognize it and to accept it. And then having had all these questions like, how would I know if this person is in alignment with what I'm looking for, or, you know, what I need? And then learning to qualify people in the correct manner that align with our core needs, which then allows us to stay authentically true to our core values. And instead of rushing into things, we qualify people. So you take more time before creating any sort of emotional bonds or maybe physical bonds with somebody else that allow you then to let go of what's not right and save yourself the heartache and the pain of everything else. So I think it's more about now learning to just embody all of that and stay true to that and implement that into my life. And then sort of being able to see this, obviously, with my daughter and how her needs are met. And I've been out on the sports field all day with her. So it's been a long day, but sort of how I'm showing up for her when she got smacked by somebody who's maybe on the spectrum level side of things. And I'm like, he just doesn't have that capability to know better. And it wasn't intentional, but to show up and to see all the support around me when I show up for her in a way that maybe wasn't there for me when I was growing up, having been abandoned by all the toxic men in my life.
Oh, babe, honestly, like what I love most is what happens for the children, whether they're born or not. It's what happens for our children and also our ancestors, our parents and our grandparents as we do this work. We're literally we're like the, you know, the lighthouse that does that. And the fact that you could be there in such a way where something not so pleasant happened to her, but you didn't make someone wrong about it. You kind of helped her to understand. Hey, Mia, good to see you, beautiful. And this is it, I've seen you literally be Mia, right? You know, like someone, please love me, to actually get to this point where you're like, I'm not the booby prize, I'm the main prize. Like, I am so damn amazingly brilliant that let's just see whether you can handle being in my light. And oh, you're a bright light as well. Let's see how we can be in our bright light together, right? So just witnessing you in just a year, like, you know, of all, I think it's been that long, and seeing how even, you know, for your lovely daughter, like how her confidence has grown in herself. And, you know, it's all part of growing up as well, but that emotional intelligence that you're talking about now, meeting your own needs, looking inward, finding it, you know, and then seeing that that is reflected also in her and your relationship. It's just a gift. It's just a total gift. We're undoing generations and generations and generations of stuff. So well done, you.
Thanks.
Anyone else got any insight or question?
Marcus, I saw you writing down lots of stuff. Tell us what they are.
I'm not sure how. I think it has ties with things you spoke about today, and it came to mind when I was hearing you speak. Really, sometimes I get to the end of a day. Actually, it's not sometimes. Often, I get to the end of the day and I realise I haven't been very present throughout the entire day, and that's from everything that I've experienced, seen, people I've spoken to, and it's a real shame. Because I think you miss a lot. I'm missing a lot that life has to give sometimes. And I've tried to change it and it keeps happening. And it's something that plays on my mind often. I'm not really sure how to navigate it, but I just thought that's something that really came up when I was...
But do you know what's really interesting with that? It ties up, and thank you for sharing that, because I think many of us, but when we actually catch ourselves, realize we're kind of just on autopilot all of the time, right? And that's the conditioning. But when Augustine was talking about the subconscious being 90% more powerful than the conscious mind, mindfulness, as we hear about it in the world today, you know, being mindful, being present, is something you can only do for 10% of every hour. If we go on this 90% thing, right? So that means you get to be present, I think I can count right, for 6 minutes of every hour, right? And the moment that something takes you out of that and you're multitasking, whatever, you're not going to be in your present consciousness. You're going to be in that sort of programming, right? One of the things that I find most interesting in the people that come and work with us is many of us are just so done in with all the different voices in our head, right? There's so much conflict and stress and chaos and just stuff. And we want peace. But the moment our mind is calm, we think there's something wrong. And part of this journey of being a conscious co-creator of your reality and actually operating as your higher self-consciousness is that your mind is calm. You're choosing a vibration